The purpose of this space is to create a very safe environment for people to share a moment of their lives.
Located one block north of St. Paul's Hospital, Downtown Denture Center features complete and partial teeth restoration options. With 35 years experience, Anthony Chung offers mobile services and emergency repair consultation 24 hours a day. Downtown Denture Center, just off Nelson at 970 Burrard in the lobby of the Electra Building.
My name is Fender Benavides from Drive Promoters in Quillam, serving the Filipino community for the past 4 years. Whether you're looking for a minivan, car, truck, SUV, or a crossover, guaranteed financing available. I am here to help. Salamat po.
Cowley & Company, car accident lawyers representing personal injury and disability victims in the Lower Mainland. A former chiropractor, Lee Cowley has more than 20 years' experience as an attorney in BC. Locations include Abbotsford and Burnaby, with a head office in Surrey, on 104 Avenue at 138th Street.
Foodie World presents Philippine Street, featuring a large selection of Filipino foods. From imported non-perishable products to both packaged seafood and locally caught and very much alive. Foodie World is 75,000 square feet of worldly groceries situated in North Richmond.
All the stories that you're going to hear tonight are personal in nature, some of which can encroach on dark topics as addiction, abuse, self-harm, and you may get triggered by them. And if you do, there's a beautiful lounge to the back of XY that you can go down, chill out, get your composure. When you're ready, you can come and join us. Welcome, everyone. My name is Winston Young. I am your host tonight for another episode of Voice Story Live. The washrooms are down the golden hallway, and all the stalls are unisex, and I just ask that on your way back that you wash your hands. We ask you to refrain from photography and video recording, but if you must take a picture or take a video, can you please do so without the flash? Because the speakers on stage are trying to hold it together hard enough already, and they don't need the distraction. Now, with that being said, I would ask that you put your phone in airplane mode right now. And that's purely because if you put it on silent mode, what happens is that in the back of your head, you're just trying to pay attention as to when it's going to actually vibrate. And you're not present for the people in the room, for the speakers, and most importantly, for yourself. So if you can do that, that would be great. And so welcome. And I'd like to start the show giving you a little bit of a story of our experience at Vancouver Startup Week a couple of weeks ago. So we weren't planning to be at Vancouver Startup Week, and through a bunch of fortunate events, we ended up going there and ending up at the recruitment fair. Now, what I thought was going to happen at the recruitment fair and actually what happened were two totally different things. So we were set up, I'm interacting with people, the person I'm speaking to leaves, and then a guy comes running up, stands in front of me and goes, "I'm a database developer. I'm great, I do this, I program in this language, I've done this," and he rattles on for about a minute and a half. And I'm like going, "Hi. Can I ask you a question?" He goes, "Sure." "Who are you?" And he was completely perplexed by this. I'm like, "Who are you?" He goes, "I just told you who I am." I'm like, "No, you gave me a laundry list of technical skill. but who are you? And he really didn't understand the question. And that conversation didn't go very far, and then he turned around and walked away. And then later on, I was speaking to another lady, and I said, yeah, when you identify who you are with what you do, what happens when you can't do what you do? And she looked at me and she looked down, she goes, well, I'm going through that right now. I can't find a job. And I go, and what do you do? She goes, I spent all this time being the best programmer I can be, and I can't find work. And it's really depressing. Like, I'm really depressed because I don't know if it's me. Is there something wrong with me? I can't figure this out. And I was touched that she could open up to me to that level. And I said, there's nothing wrong with you. So don't equate what you do with who you are, because they're two totally separate things. And just because you can't get hired doesn't mean that you're a bad person or there's something wrong with you. Like, you have to really understand that. You have to separate these two things. And that kind of got through to her a little bit. But throughout the 3 hours that my team was there, we were just bombarded by this, like just nonstop, just people just coming up and just throwing pretty much the resume in our faces. Like, okay, this is what I can do. I'm like, then when we say, I'm not hiring, and then they just turn around and walk away, right? I'm like, but we're here to help people like yourself. And where I'm going with that is, when you identify with what you do, you literally strip out all the humanity as to who you are. And if you don't catch this, and I'm guilty of this myself, it really warps your view of, well, whatever we call reality. In my own story, for 15 years, all I could do was chase after money, because I believed money made me somebody. Having all the toys, having all the cool stuff, having big numbers in the bank account made me someone in this world. So what happened? Well, as the cocky bastard that I was, I remember saying to my mom, I don't have any problem landing a contract. My mom looked at me, and in her wise words back then, even though I thought she was just being a hag, she said, be careful what you say, because that's not right what you just said. And I brushed it off, finished the contract, then a week passed, 2 weeks passed, 3 weeks passed. To give you some back history, I was constantly employed for 10 years as a mercenary, as a hired gun, that if someone can't figure out the problem, I would show up and say, I can fix it. A money-back guarantee that I could fix it. And then I developed this reputation of being able to fix it. Then all of a sudden, I couldn't get hired. 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and then I started going nuts. I'm going, is it me? Did I say something to someone? Am I on a blacklist somewhere that I don't know about? And it really started warping my mind, because I go, there's something wrong with me, because I was in so much demand. Now that I can't do anything, then it's me, because I don't have income coming in. I'm a failure. There's something, like all these voices going off in my head. And at that time, I couldn't figure out how to get out of it. And I was literally spiraling into depression, because I couldn't understand, because I couldn't separate myself from what I was doing. And it took 8 years, 3 more years of hell, 5 years of healing to get out of that. So with that journey that I went on, I learned a lot about who I am as a person. And even though I don't have the toys anymore, I don't have all those things that people put on their checklist anymore, I realized all those things didn't make me who I am today. So before I introduce our speakers, I wanted to paint that picture, because when I looked at the speaker lineup today, deep down inside, even though there was no theme for tonight, there is this underlying theme that I'm going to share with you right now of authenticity. So the speakers that I'm going to introduce have all, in some way, form, some form have decided to come share a moment of their lives to gift us a moment about authenticity. And with that, our first speaker went through trials and tribulations of wanting to understand who he was. But given the circumstances of where he was, he decided he couldn't actually embrace what was inside of him, so he had to leave. And by doing so, he gave himself an opportunity to actually embrace the calling of who he is, and I invite Trevor Assman to the stage to share his story.
Located 1 block north of St. Paul's Hospital, downtown Denture Center features complete and partial teeth restoration options. With 35 years experience, Anthony Chung offers mobile services and emergency repair consultation 24 hours a day. Downtown Denture Center, just off Nelson at 970 Burrard in the lobby of the Electra building.
My name is Fender Benavides from Drive Promoters in Quillam, serving the Filipino community for the past 4 years. Whether you're looking for a minivan, car, truck, SUV, or a crossover, guaranteed financing available. I am here to help. Salamat po.
Calgary and Company, car accident lawyers representing personal injury and disability victims in the Lower Mainland. A former chiropractor, Lee Cowley has more than 20 years' experience as an attorney in BC. Locations include Abbotsford and Burnaby, with a head office in Surrey, on 104 Avenue at 138th Street.
Foodie World presents Philippine Street, featuring a large selection of Filipino foods. From imported non-perishable products to both packaged seafood and locally caught and very much alive. Foodie World is 75,000 square feet of worldly groceries situated in North Richmond.
All the stories that you're going to hear tonight are personal in nature, some of which can encroach on dark topics as addiction, abuse, self-harm, and you may get triggered by them. And if you do, there is a beautiful lounge to the back of XY that you can go down, chill out, get your composure. When you're ready, you can come and join us. I forgot to adjust the stand.
Oh. I want to thank Winston for giving me the time to come on stage and share my story. I want to thank my husband out there, Jesse, hi, to support me as I do this. It is my hope that my story is taken in the spirit of learning, sharing, reflecting, and advocating. This is my story. Picture it. Abbotsford, BC, March 6, 1974. That was the day I entered into this world. And like everybody, I was not given an instruction manual, not given any notice as to how my life was going to play out. If you're not already aware, Abbotsford, BC is still considered the Bible Belt of Canada. I was born into a Christian family, my mom, my dad, and my sister. I grew up in a small church, which I had very fond memories of. I remember the vast majority of my friends were all from my church. We did lots of things together inside and outside of the church, like picnics and group functions. When I entered my teenage years, I very much enjoyed going to youth group events. I loved it so much that I already made my plans to become a youth pastor. I took my faith very seriously. I dedicated myself to my church at an early age and volunteered much of my time to help my community. As much I loved my church and my faith, I noticed I was having an internal struggle with something. And it wasn't something I noticed my other guy friends were having. When I was 16, I was working at a restaurant. My guy friends would come up to me and ask my opinions on different women who were sitting in the restaurant. Hey, Trevor, check her out. She's gorgeous. Don't you think so, Trevor? Yeah, she's beautiful. She looks great, I would say. But really, I knew I didn't look at women the same way they objectified women, my friends. I knew I was different for sure. When I was 18, I met a girl who I really liked. I developed feelings for her and can actually say I fell in love with her. We tried dating for a week, but I totally messed that up. Even though I loved her and I thought she was so beautiful, I didn't feel compelled to be romantic with her. The most I would really give her was a hug. That's about it. So yes, she was feeling very confused, and so was I. This is when I thought I might be gay. But the problem for me was I didn't know what being gay meant. I literally had no gay influences in the mid-1990s, living in the Bible Belt of Canada. I didn't know anyone gay. I never met anyone who admitted they were gay. I didn't have Will and Grace, no gay characters on TV at the time. My friends and family didn't put gay people down, but I knew as much as they did, and that was very little. But one thing I did know was the church view at the time was being gay was wrong. But again, that's all they said. It's wrong. Other than a couple of questionable Bible verses and just not talking about it, it's a real life issue. I didn't even know what a gay pride flag was. I didn't even know Vancouver was a gay mecca with gay bars and gay prides. No clue. This just proves the point that people are born gay. It's natural. I was not influenced once by something at all. I couldn't come out alone. Nope, not in the cards. So much was at stake. I had a reputation in my church. I thought about my family's reputation. I thought about losing all my friends. In addition, I didn't think self-declared Christians could be gay. I thought there was this invisible shield around all Christians and it was impossible to be gay. I was so confused, such a mess. I knew I needed to figure this out and on my own. I could not go through this process around with my family or friends. I needed to be 100% sure I was gay and that I was able to come out confident and safe. So what did I do next? I moved to Calgary of all places. Don't get me wrong, I love Calgary. But Alberta is as very conservative as you get. But I didn't know that until later. I told my family that there was some job opportunity in Calgary and going to try it out, when really I needed to work things out. So I got a job in Calgary and started to establish some friends and getting to know the city. I didn't jump into experimenting and educating myself about being gay until 3 months after my move. You see, it was much harder than it is now to find openly gay people. Back then, the only resource I had was the yellow pages in the phone book. I would literally search for gay organizations and bars. There was no internets or apps. Today, you just have to log into Grindr or Scruff, and you can find out within 5 feet of you who gay people are. Life was so different back then. So one evening, I decided to go to my first gay bar. There were a few to choose from, but I was scared out of my mind. I had to park my car 5 blocks away from the gay bar because I thought someone was going to walk down the street and call me out as being gay. I remember it took me about 5 times to get the confidence to walk into the bar. I would be like coaching myself going, oh, okay, I can do this. It's not that hard. And I would get by the door and then I would sail past it. I didn't want to be noticed. Just walk in the door. I would approach the door and I'd walk right by it. And walk around a few blocks and do the same thing until I was finally brave enough to walk in. And my mind was blown. All these guys were staring at me like I was fresh meat. I took a glance and looked around. I was only in there for 5 minutes and then I left, but I felt successful. So over time, I started to get more brave. I would walk in and sit at the bar. Then another time, I got brave enough to talk to some guys. Then I got brave enough to go on a date. And dates turned into kissing, and kissing led to... And I started to feel good. It felt natural. I finally admitted to myself that I was gay. I will tell you that I started to come out to my friends and family over time, and I'll save that part for another speech. I want to tell you about coming out to another one that I loved. It was the most important loved one that first came out, and that I first came out to, and that was God. I remember the night that I admitted myself I was gay. I was internalizing all these things. I was learning about myself during my time in Calgary. All the things that were happening during this time felt good and right. But I also felt horrible because even though I felt good, I remember being taught that Christians could be gay. It was forbidden. But again, what I was feeling was natural and good. So I had a very heartfelt chat with a man upstairs. I knew I had a big decision to make. In my conversation, I admitted that I was gay and that I wasn't seeking forgiveness for being gay, but I was renouncing my Christian faith of what I had known at that time. I could never judge anyone or condemn someone for being gay. That is just so wrong. So I just could not be in that religion. So by that, I had to renounce it, and it was so hard, but I felt it was right. The reason why I'm telling you the story is because so many LGBTQ plus people who are raised in religious institutions are taught that being gay is wrong. These people grew up just like you and me and had a relationship with God and was convinced they were born into sin. They were told that being gay was dead wrong. Some of these people have been sent to conversion camps to set themselves straight, which is dead wrong. There are millions of LGBT people that don't have that peace of mind, always struggling to understand where they fit in the universe and if God actually loves them or hates them. They don't know if they are going to hell or heaven simply because of who they are naturally. We have seen much progress in the gay community. Gay marriage has been recognized in many countries. So many things to celebrate. But my heart goes out to those who have not yet felt peace in their heart with the universe that they are part of. I think it is a wicked assumption that the gay community doesn't appear to want to find peace with the universe that they feel so close to. It's a wicked assumption to believe that this doesn't weigh heavy on people's hearts. A few years ago, I saw a post on Facebook, YouTube, about a pastor that was preaching some disparaging messages to his congregation. He was telling his parents and his congregation to snap their boys' wrists if they go limp, and to demand their daughters to wear dresses and do girl things. These violent instructions were very disturbing to me. But what got me the most was in the video recording, I could hear many men in the congregation saying, "Amen to that, amen." I was so upset to hear that. Then I became very sad. Sad to think that the children of these men who were shouting amen to these instructions of violence were probably sitting next to their parents listening to this. This message teaches straight children that they are superior and over-righteous to cause violence. It's more sad to acknowledge that gay children hearing their parents saying amen to these instructions of violence will absolutely keep them in fear of coming out to their parents. Another instance was right after the tragic mass shooting in the gay nightclub in Orlando. A pastor of a church went onto YouTube to express his joy that it was a blessing that these gay people were shot and killed. To him, it was a blessing. Like, what the fuck? These deplorable instances do not represent the God that I know. Far from it. And after hearing what these pastors were preaching, were reaching the ears of these LGBTQ children and parents who believe in a God, I felt it necessary to correct this disaster with what I have come to know. My message to those who are seeking peace of mind and peace of heart is this. We are all a spark of the divine. Straight, LGBTQ, we are not born in sin. We are the divine light. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Your body is a vessel where your divine spirit navigates in this heavy, challenging, crazy, messed up world. Dig your foundation into universal truths, such as you can't mess up kindness. It doesn't matter how someone reacts to your act of kindness, you cannot mess it up or bring harm to anyone. How does one come to peace of mind and heart that they fit in this universe, gay or straight? Don't try to better yourself. You are already perfect. What you can do instead is honor yourself. Honor your mind, spirit, and body. If you feel concerned about it, if you are on track in this life, I will share with you how you know you are. Are you kind? Do you help others? Do you advocate for those who don't have a voice? Or do you speak up when you see wrongdoing? There is no soul that needs saving. Our true essence is perfect. Our mortal bodies are not, and they are hard to navigate in. Last but not least, I want to share with you a quote from yours truly. Don't strive to be happy. Strive to be kind. Peace and happiness will follow. Thank you.
Models are on display at Freeway Mazda. New Mazda sedans, crossovers, and SUVs surround the facility, and fully loaded versions occupy the floor of the showroom. At Freeway Mazda, 154th Street and 104 Avenue in Surrey. Located 1 block north of St. Paul's Hospital, Downtown Denture Center features complete and partial teeth restoration options. With 35 years experience, Anthony Chung offers mobile services and emergency repair consultation 24 hours a day. Downtown Denture Center, just off Nelson at 970 Burrard in the lobby of the Electra Building.
Calgary & Company, car accident lawyers representing personal injury and disability victims in the Lower Mainland. A former chiropractor, Lee Cowley has more than 20 years experience as an attorney in BC. Locations include Abbotsford and Burnaby, with a head office in Surrey, on 104 Avenue at 138th Street.
Foodie World presents Philippine Street, featuring a large selection of Filipino foods. From imported non-perishable products to both packaged seafood and locally caught and very much alive. Foodie World is 75,000 square feet of worldly groceries situated in North Richmond.
My name is Fender Benavides from Drive Motors in Quillam, serving the Filipino community for the past 4 years. Whether you're looking for a minivan, car, truck, SUV, or a crossover, guaranteed financing available. I am here to help. Salamat po.